influence people, which would be good for leaders. The only book you need to lead you to success. Go after the job you want and get it. Take the job you have and improve it. Take any situation and make it work for you. The groundbreaking guidebook of all time introduces simple and life-changing concepts such as first impressions, criticizing people, but how not to be hated for it, good conversationalists, what to do when nothing else works, and making people glad to do what you want. So this is a very influential book, and it's a very self-driven, self-leader role book. This would also be good for if you are a leader or a manager, how to, influence people in a way that is respectful and positive. So this is a great book as well. Over 75 years in print. Okay, for sure. So more interested in the emotional intelligence one, definitely. And then the last one I picked out in this section was 100 ways to motivate others, how great leaders can produce insane results without driving people crazy. So this is the revised edition. Now, it says, the first step in motivating others is to learn how to motivate yourself. Then you will see how to slow down and enjoy a new level of focus. Why multitasking is a myth, not a strength. The power of building on your people's strengths. How to avoid the damaging inclination to obsess about people's weaknesses. A simple and creative way to hold people accountable. And how to enjoy cultivating the art of supportive confrontation. This is actually a book that I want to read. It's on one of my lists. So if you do read it, let me know what you think next time you come in to take it back. But this one seems really, really great, especially if you would struggle with confrontation and accountability and those types of things, because those are very difficult. Those are tough conversations to have with people. So this one seems really interesting as well, and I think it goes a little bit hand in hand with the emotional intelligence one. Yeah. Pretty easy to read. Yeah, lots of subheadings again. And there's a lot of quotes in here as well, which is nice. No quotes from all types of different authors and sociologists, sorry. Yeah, tons of stuff in there. So this could be a good one as well for you. Okay, now those are just the ones that I picked for, emotional intelligence, personal growth, that type of thing. But I did pick a few for the more emotional section, which we can get into now if you'd like. Okay, for sure. Now, I did pick out two more light-hearted reads, and then the rest are more deep, very emotional reads. So, do you want me to show you the light-hearted ones first? Okay, so this one is The Giver. I'm not sure if you read this one in school yet. A lot of people did. It says, Jonas's world is perfect. is more of a timepiece novel, but it's really amazing. I've actually read this book. I quite like it. It is still a little bit emotional. I mean, I did shed a few tears at the end, but nothing crazy like with some of the other books. So it's an easy read, a lighter read. It's not too long either. Okay, for sure, I'll show you the other ones first, and then you can decide. Alright, so this one was really popular a couple years ago, but I'm not sure if you've read it. It's Go Ask Alice Anonymous. No? Okay, then I will read it to you, or present it to you. It started when she was served a soft drink laced with LSD in a dangerous party game. Within months, she was hooked, trapped in a downward spiral that took her from her comfortable home and loving family to the mean streets of an unforgiving city. It was a journey that would rob her of her innocence, her youth, and ultimately her life. Read her diary, enter her world. You will never forget her. For 35 years, the acclaimed best-selling first-person account of a teenage girl's harrowing descent into the nightmarish world of drugs has left an indelible mark on generations of teen readers. As powerful and as timely today as ever, Go Ask Alice remains the definitive book on the horror of addiction, an extraordinary work, a document of horrifying reality. So, this one is laid out like a diary. It has date entries. Some people really enjoy that. I quite like that as well. Now this one, I wouldn't say the vocabulary in it is difficult, but more so just the content is quite difficult because it does deal with addiction and drug abuse and things like that, and it is very, very sad, emotional, all of those. But I mean, that's what you were looking for, which is why I picked it out. And if you haven't read it, it's a really great book, and I mean, it really, you really dive into the issues of addiction, especially for teenagers. I mean, because it is a teenage girl's diary. So if you're interested in this one, just let me know, like all the others, okay? Yeah, that one is just over 200 pages, but like I said, it's more diary entries, so it's not completely a full top to bottom with the writing. Okay, next one is The Inconvenient Indian, a curious account of Native people in North America. So, it says, fascinating, often hilarious, always devastatingly truthful. The Inconvenient Indian is destined to become a classic of historical narrative for those who wish to better understand Native peoples. It is a must-read for those who don't wish to understand it. It is even more so. Essential reading for everyone who cares about Canada and who seeks to understand Native people, their issues, and their dreams. Every Canadian should read Thomas King's new book. It's funny, it's readable, and it makes you think. If you have any kind of social conscience, The Inconvenient Indian will also make you angry. And then it just has a little bit about Thomas King. He's one of Canada's premier public intellectuals. He is the best-selling author of 5 novels. He has won numerous awards and honors, including the National Aboriginal Achievement Award and the Order of Canada. He also lives in Guelph, Ontario, which is not far from here. Yeah, kind of interesting. The Inconvenient Indian exposes and makes accessible, perhaps for the first time, our perspective of events that have shaped this continent. King is reclaiming our true lived experience in the tradition of our storytellers and artists. He brings humor, razor-sharp analysis, and insight, compelling every reader to confront the respectful perspective. So this one is a bit longer. It's a larger book, but there's also a lot of terminology in it as well. There's quite a long index. So it's a really great book, though. I've heard great things about that one, and it is the 2015 selection for Canada Reads. Yeah, okay, for sure. I can set that one aside then if you know you want that one. Okay. I still have 3 more to show you though. So this one is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. A close friend of mine actually read this and told me it was very, very emotional. She cried a lot, so that's why I picked it out. But it says, Christopher John Francis Boone knows all the countries of the world and their capitals and every prime number up to 7,057. He relates well to animals, but has no understanding of human emotions. He cannot stand to be touched, and he detests the color yellow. The suspicious death of a neighborhood dog makes for one of the most captivating, unusual, and widely heralded novels in recent years. A stark, funny, and original first novel, one of the strangest and most convincing characters in recent fiction. Let's see some other quotes. Smart, honest, and wrenching. This novel will quickly hook you in. Astonishing, captivating, fierce, and ingenious. Brilliant, delightful, moving, plausible, funny. Heart in the mouth stuff, terrifyingly moving. Haddon is to be congratulated to imagining a new kind of hero. So, like I said, this one did make my friend cry. It has some very emotional aspects to the book, even though a lot of people do say it can be funny. I mean, it definitely can be funny, but it is also a very gut-wrenching book, so that's why I picked this one out. And if you're into more like kind of mystery, it could be good as well, because it is about a boy trying to figure out what happened to the neighborhood dog who passed away. Okay, for sure you can think about it and just let me know. Okay, this one is another book that kind of deals with addiction. It's called The Glass Castle, and it is a New York Times bestseller, although I do believe, so The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime is a #1 international bestseller. So, very popular. But this one is The Glass Castle. So, The Glass Castle is a remarkable memoir of resilience and redemption, and a revelatory look into a family at once deeply dysfunctional and uniquely vibrant. When sober, Jeanette's brilliant and charismatic father captured his children's imagination, teaching them physics, geology, and how to embrace life fearlessly. But when he drank, he was dishonest and destructive. Her mother was a free spirit who adorned the idea of domesticity and didn't want the responsibility of raising a family. The Walsh children learned to take care of themselves. They fed, clothed, and protected one another, and eventually found their way to New York. Their parents followed them, choosing to be homeless even as their children prospered. The Glass Castle is truly astonishing, a memoir permeated by the intense love of a peculiar but loyal family. Let's see. Some people are born storytellers. Some lives are worth telling. The best memoirs happen when these two conditions converge. The Glass Castle is the kind of story that keeps you awake long after the rest of the house has fallen asleep. So this is again a New York Times bestseller, very popular, but it does deal with addiction again. I mean, especially with the father. So that can obviously be a difficult topic, questions, think of me as your friend or as yourself, and if you have to, see me first. How many good deeds does one have to do before one is considered a saint? How many bad acts deem one irredeemable? Humans are more complicated than that. We complicate equations. I think of the world differently than most. I see in colors. I see people in colors. I see memories in colors. I see you as color too. My name is Joseph. I am 12 years old and I'm an artist. I was stolen from my parents to attend one of yours elite schools. This is my story and the stories of everyone else I have ever met. About two brothers, a doomed friendship, and quite a lot of swearing. I learn about the colors that the strong do not survive and that the best chance of survival may be in a concentration camp. What was it like to hear colors, see scents, and taste sounds? Come with me, I'll show you if you feel it. It all started the day the world ended, December 1939. So this is a very heavy book. As I said, it talks about concentration camps and whatnot, and World War II, of course. So it is a very, very heavy book. I mean, the author also said it's dedicated to the friends who gave him the stories. So yeah, it's a very, very heavy book. But if you're interested in anything from World War II, then I would highly recommend it. But it is very, very emotional. I mean, this is another book that someone close to me read, and they had trouble making it through just because it does deal with such heavy topics. But if that's what you're looking for, a really heart-wrenching book, then I would highly recommend this. And it's also educational about World War II if you're interested in that at all. Okay, for sure. So then, which books would you like me to set aside for you? You can pick out 5, and then you have 2 weeks to return them. For sure, we can extend it to 1 month. But if you do pick out more than 2 books for the month, then you do get a little bit of a fee. Okay, for sure. So we'll just pick out 5 for 2 weeks then. You can see what you like. You can always come back and you can just re-rent them for another 2 weeks. Okay, so you want The Boy Who Saw in Colors, and you want The Inconvenient Indian. Okay, good to know. You want the Emotional Intelligence book. Okay. Working with Emotional Intelligence. I've got that one here. And then, do you want any others? Okay, for sure. Yeah, I think The Great Gatsby will be a really quick read for you. But it might be a good and well-deserved break from some of the other books. Okay, and then is that all? For sure, you can definitely try out Go Ask Alice and see how you like it, right? I mean, that's the thing, when you take out this many books for only 2 weeks, you kind of just get a feel for what you like, and then you come back, return what you don't think is really for you, and then you can read the rest. Okay, so you are happy with these 5 books then? Okay, yeah. No, for sure, you can definitely continue to browse for a little bit, and if you see something else that you like, then just let me know and we can trade it out, okay? For sure, so if you're looking for more like business professional books, that is in aisle 12. All the aisles are labeled, and then the more emotional books, fiction is 20, like stack 20 over there, and then that's fiction, and then non-fiction is just right over there. Yeah, there's also the signs above the stacks as well, but just like the aisles are labeled too, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But if you want me to show you around, I definitely can. Oh, I don't mind. No, I mean, you're one of the few people in the library today, so it's keeping me occupied as well. Okay, for sure, I can come with you and we can go through some books together. Alright, sounds good. Then we'll start with business So